Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, viewers, for watching. And I am sorry for the camera shake. Um, this is my live Raw review for the June 22nd, 2015 episode of WWE Monday Night Raw. Um, this show, I'm not gonna lie, this show was somewhat bearable for me to watch. I watched quite a bit of it, more than I usually watch of Raw. And a quick thing before I get into it. First off, if you've watched this point, great. I'm going to announce this first. If you have any questions for tomorrow's or Tuesday, June 23rd, 2015, if you have any questions for me to answer on the Hardiac Wrestling Podcast, on episode number 2 of the Hardiac Wrestling Podcast, please send them to UNITARDZZ at gmail.com. So unitards at gmail.com. If you look at the YouTube channel name, it's unitards plus 1Z at the end at gmail.com. Send your questions there. I will probably have a link to it in the description below. But back into Raw, I will also tell you that for the Hardiac Wrestling Podcast, I won't get into too much about the storylines because I'm going to save a bit for tomorrow's podcast, which is supposed to last about an hour or somewhat to an hour. So, anyway, Raw was somewhat bearable. I enjoyed it a little. I enjoyed a little portion of it. And today I'm here to talk about, or tonight I'm here to talk about Monday Night Raw in its entirety. So we start off the show with not an Authority promo, not a John Cena promo, but we started it off with a Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman promo. And if there's any good way to start a Monday Night Raw, it's always with a Paul Heyman and Brock Lesnar promo. So Paul Heyman brings up that Brock Lesnar has to apologize to Michael Cole, Michael Cole and JBL for attacking them and injuring them and taking them out of their jobs for a while in his last appearance on Raw, excluding last week. So he gives JBL a handshake and then he gives a noogie to Michael Cole, puts him in his chair and says, "We're good now," and it asks, "We good now?" And Michael Cole just continues to say yes over and over and over again. He pretty much afterwards says, Paul Heyman quotes that Seth Rollins Lesnar has a first class all expense, or he's been Lesnar is giving Seth Rollins a first class all expense paid trip to Suplex City, bitch. And later we get after that we get a little hype towards the Roman Reigns versus Sheamus match that we get. Shit. Here we go. The Roman Reigns versus Sheamus match that we got on Raw, but also had last Thursday on SmackDown. And we also see Dean Ambrose walking out backstage, and then we lead to commercial. We get Kane versus Dean Ambrose, and Kane beat Dean Ambrose. And I forgot who interfered. Oh no, wait. Rollins interfered and cost Dean Ambrose the match after Kane chokeslammed him. So Kane won that match. We get a few stills for Kevin Owens and John Cena from John Cena and Kevin Owens at Money in the Bank. And of course, Cena was going to be there later in the night to speak. He returns to Raw tonight, or he returned to Raw tonight, which I don't like. Because if you've seen Kevin Owens, his apron powerbomb, you would know that it's supposed to take out guys for a while. And that's what happened to John Cena Money in the Bank. And I don't like the fact that John Cena came back after only a week. I mean, I understand you're supposed to build to Kevin Owens versus John Cena at Battleground, but why build Kevin Owens and John Cena at Battleground instead of SummerSlam when you could try to make the Kevin Owens powerbomb onto the ring apron seem even more deadly. You can have John Cena be out for 2 to 3, maybe 4 weeks, and then Kevin Owens says, "All right, well, you missed Battleground, so now we're gonna face at SummerSlam." Then John Cena can come back and you can accept Kevin Owens' challenge and become even more motivated to beat Kevin Owens, because he put him out of action for a while, and then Kevin Owens can beat John Cena. Why not just do that instead of having John Cena come back after only being out a week? Uh, well, you know what? I'll give you the reason why. The WWE can't help themselves. Anyway, uh, we get back from the break. Rollins is backstage with Kane, wanting to get the band back together. Kane tells Rollins he just wants to help to deal with Lesnar, and Rollins goes on saying he's not scared of Lesnar. He's going to destroy him. He extends his hand, but Kane walks off, of course. So we get more hype for Roman Reigns versus Bray Wyatt. Then we get the Primetime Players versus the Ascension. It was a fucking match. It wasn't really worth anything to go back and say, oh, it was Primetime Players versus the Ascension. That should be a great match. No, it was a mediocre match. And what else would you expect from the Ascension with the way Vince McMahon has been booking them, or the creative team has been booking them, not just Vince McMahon in general. Um, Pretty much. Oh, Titus won Celebrity Dad of the Year. So that's good for him. Congratulations to Titus O'Neil. Titus O'Neil cleans house pretty much. And the primetime players pick up the win. Afterwards, the champions celebrate as the New Day are mocking them backstage. The New Day, they're just great. They're great heels, and they deserve the hype they get to whatever they get put into, and the New Day they deserve to be successful. That's what the New Day is, just great, and I want to see the New Day flourish even more. Still leaning on what's going to happen with the primetime players in the New Day at Battleground. That prediction is going to come, later down the line when it get, the week before Battleground. But right now, I'm kind of deadlocked between the primetime players and the New Day, and we're going to see how it goes over the next few weeks until I see what my thought on it is, what my take on it is. Then we get Sheamus versus Roman Reigns. It was an alright match. It was nothing that you would go back and say, "Oh, I want to watch this match over." It wasn't mediocre, but it was just a match. It's nothing. It's not anything special, or it wasn't anything special. That's pretty much that. But Sheamus entered right when the primetime players were still in the ring. They both stare him down as he entered the ring with his briefcase, and then they went to commercial. And they came back. Roman Reigns went through the crowd and everything. And let's see. Let me read this very quickly. All right. Well, I guess the match didn't really end. Yeah, the match didn't really end. We just went to break after Bray Wyatt was having a tea party with Roman Reigns' daughter. I guess he was trying to get Roman Reigns to think, "Oh, my daughter's over there. I gotta go get her," and whatever. The whole personal issue thing with the WWE's storylines, bringing personal details into it. I mean, usually that's not how the WWE is supposed to go, because it's supposed to, on screen, you're supposed to see the character, not the guy or the girl outside of the ring. WWE's or wrestling, you're supposed to have, well, not supposed to have, but it's usual that you get the performer as the performer, not the guy you see at home or outside of the ring. I apologize for the noise. Usually it's like Roman Reigns in the ring. You don't usually see, the side of Roman Reigns at home, outside of the ring, in public. You get to see the Roman Reigns, or the Bray Wyatt, or the Dolph Ziggler, or the Seth Rollins, or the Dean Ambrose, or the John Cena, or the Kevin Owens, or the Adrian Neville, or the Sami Zayn, or the Finn Balor that you see in the ring, not usually those guys that you would see in public. So, and when you bring up some personal issues, or you bring up a personal storyline, the storyline is supposed to be personal from somebody's personal life. It's supposed to bring interest in, and I think that's I think that's been happening for the Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt feud. I just I want the WWE to make it feel natural. I don't want them to make it feel forced. Like it's a personal issue that makes or that's supposed to make you want to be interested in this feud. It's not supposed to be something that you look at and you go, oh, I don't care. The WWE doesn't really want that. They want personal issue story or a personal storyline to draw you in. But I don't want it to feel forced, like they're doing it just to make you be, drawn in, or I don't want it to force it like, they're trying to make it interesting. I want it to feel natural. And right now it feels natural because A, it's Bray Wyatt. He can always make something feel natural, especially the natural creepiness. But I just I my one request when it comes to personal storylines is I want it to feel natural. I don't want it to feel forced. I don't want it to feel like it's being forced upon the crowd, and I don't want it to feel like it's like this guy is just playing a character. He's not actually out to make it to fuck with your head. But I think Bray Wyatt is one of those guys that makes it feel natural. It's just if Roman Reigns can really go that way and really make it feel natural along with Bray Wyatt's help. And I think so far he's done that, but he hasn't really gotten so many advantage or too many points where he can make it feel natural. Whereas last Monday on Raw, he just looked as he cut a promo and he just looked at it. He didn't have any reaction. And then this week he just went. I mean, it felt more natural this week, of course, but he went to the backstage, went into a room, saw pictures of Roman Reigns on the wall, and it said something around along the lines of, well, I don't know what it said. Um, anyone but you, it says. It was written, anyone but you was written in red on the wall with, lines connecting to Roman Reigns pictures or pictures of Roman Reigns on the wall. So I think it feels natural, and I don't think Roman Reigns is going to have a problem with keeping it with a natural feel. That's I hope that's easy for Reigns and Bray Wyatt to do, and I think Bray Wyatt can do it. I just want to see if Roman Reigns can do it as well. Um, we get a look at Lesnar and Heyman in the backstage area, just talking it over or talking whatever over. And then Rollins walks up to Jamie Noble and Joey Mercury. He wants them to be on the same page. Noble says they're not playing around. Both of them just end up walking off with Rollins just hanging out, just kind of sitting there. And then we get Neville versus Kofi Kingston. Um, of course, Neville won. I believe primetime players came out to the ring to distract the New Day, and the referee ejected the primetime players, and then the New Day or Xavier Woods and Big E were taunting down Neville, or kind of telling him, you can't do this, you can't win, you can't pick up a win against Kofi, you can't pick up a win against us, you're not as good as us. And then the referee ejects Xavier Woods and Big E, so we get into Kofi Kingston versus Neville one-on-one for a very short time because Kofi Kingston goes to talk it over with the referee, and Neville hits, I guess, a hurricane, or not hurricane, an enziguri, and then hits the red arrow and covers Kofi Kingston for the win. So Neville wins. I'm wondering if this is going to bring up an Adrian Neville, or AKA Neville, versus Kofi Kingston feud. I think that's what we're going to be getting into. Big E and Xavier Woods defending the tag team or fighting the primetime players for the tag team titles, trying to get it back. And Kofi Kingston, instead of just hanging out on the New Day's side, does his own thing and at a battleground. And I think it'll be Kofi Kingston versus Neville, which should be a great match. I'm just hoping the New Day doesn't, interfere. I think it'd be better to have a Kofi Kingston versus Neville clean finish, clean match, than a New Day interference. Because then the primetime players will interfere, and then that'll just lead into their tag team match either later or earlier in the night, and then it'll just kind of confuse things. So, but I'm not going to talk too much about that because that's one of the topics. Spoiler alert! Spoiler alert! That's one of the topics for tomorrow's podcast. That will probably be at like 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Um, but anyway, we get John Cena still to come, and then we get a sneak preview of Ryback versus Mark Henry later. Then we get a Tough Enough preview and a preview for USA Network's Mr. Robot, which I'm not going to watch it. It doesn't seem interesting to me. Um, anyway, we get to King Barrett versus Zack Ryder. Nothing interesting. King Barrett won. It was an alright. It was a competitive match, I guess, but nothing really to go back and say, "Ooh, that was a cool spot" or anything. It was nothing special. There was nothing special about the match. King Barrett won after Zack Ryder was stranded at the top rope, hit the bullhammer, and covered Zack Ryder for the win. Then we get more hype for Cena and Owens. Cena will show up next. Um, we get back from the break and we see the Chicago Blackhawks and the Golden State Warriors celebrating with the WWE title belt. Of course, Chicago Blackhawks beat the Tampa Bay Lightning 4-2 in a game came up to 7 series in the Stanley Cup Finals for the National Hockey League (NHL), and the Golden State Warriors defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers, I believe, 4-3 in a Game 7 series, or no, I believe it was a no, I believe it was 4-2 in a Game 7 series. So out of 6 games, they defeated the Cleveland Cavaliers and won the NBA championship or the NBA finals and won their trophy. So the champions of both the National Hockey League and the National Basketball Association celebrated with the WWE championship. Yes, I am a fan of sports, mostly the NFL. Of course, I'm a San Francisco 49ers fan. And yes, I live in Hartford, Connecticut, but I am still a San Francisco 49ers fan. Um, that's just me. Uh, we go down to the ring, and out comes John Cena with the WWE United States Championship. Cena cuts a promo, and Kevin Owens cuts a promo, or comes out and cuts a promo, at the same time. Kevin Owens speaks French, and then Cena speaks French, and then he speaks Chinese, and then he says "I," or then he says this is pretty much through any language, or you can understand this through any language. And I don't think you understand that whole point, John, because he said, "I will kick your ass." I don't think that's the same in every language, John. I don't think "I will kick your ass" is the same in French as it is in English, nor is it in Chinese or Dutch or Portuguese or Spanish or Lithuanian or excuse me, Albanian. I think Albanian. Um, So I don't think you understand the whole concept of language, John, or world language. No is usually one of the only words that is kind of similar or the same in every language. I know, like Spanish is no. I'm not sure about French or anything else, but I don't even speak Spanish. I just speak pure English. So um, I think I may be the same, although it may be pronounced in different ways in different countries, and that's pretty much the same with every language. So I don't think you understand that concept of world language, John. If you can speak 2 or more languages, um, which apparently I guess now he is trilingual, I suppose, and of course Kevin Owens is bilingual. If you Canada, their 2 major languages are English and French. Um, so, of course, people from Canada, or a lot of people from Canada, speak French. And Kevin Owens is from Canada, so he would speak French, or you would suppose he'd speak French. Um, but I guess afterwards we get Triple H and Stephanie McMahon watching backstage, talking about Kevin Owens has probably gotten into John Cena's head. Rollins walks in, talks about how he wants to get the band back together. Triple H tells him to cut the shit. He only wants the band back together because he's scared of Seth Rollins. And of course, if you are scared of Seth Rollins, you are smart. Only a dumbass wouldn't be scared of Brock Lesnar. So of course, Seth Rollins um, is smart for being scared of Brock Lesnar. He'd be completely idiotic if he wasn't. Um, Either that or he's just not afraid of anyone, but he's afraid of Brock Lesnar. So, of course, that's not the case. Um, and Triple H and Stephanie McMahon pretty much tell Seth Rollins, hey, look, if you want the band back together, the only way you can do this is by saying the 3 words, I am sorry. We go to commercial, come back, and we get the Bella Twins versus Tamina and Naomi. Apparently on SmackDown, Alicia Fox helped the Bella Twins win. their match against, I think, Tamina Snuka and Naomi. Uh, Whoop-de-doo. I didn't watch SmackDown, and I don't really care what Alicia Fox is doing. But the Bella Twins pick up the win against Tamina Snuka and Naomi. I think Naomi hit the rear view on Tamina by accident, and Nikki Bella hit the forearm, and then the Rack Attack and Nikki Bella covered Naomi for the win. Then we get Roman Reigns featuring Roman Reigns and the new Terminator movie. I don't understand what this whole point was. I guess they mixed Roman Reigns and the Terminator Genesis trailer together. I'm not sure if Roman Reigns is in the movie. I'm not sure if this was just a whole plot to show, hey, Roman Reigns is a really cool guy. You should like him. I don't know what this or what is going on here or what is going through this. I don't know. But it was a confusing segment with Roman Reigns and the Terminator Genesis movie trailer, coinciding or coexisting or whatever. I don't know. Anyway, we get Roman Reigns, or I'm sorry, no, we get Ryback versus Mark Henry next. Nothing special. Ryback won. Big Show and Mark Henry had, I guess, a disagreement or something like that, and Big Show ended up walking away after Mark Henry shoved him. So Ryback won. Then we get more hype for Tough Enough. We get JoJo and Ryback. Ryback cuts some sort of a promo about his parents being together to watch, or coming together for the first time in a couple of years to watch Ryback win the world or the Intercontinental title. And then we get Big Show coming out and kind of bullying Ryback. Ryback bullies, or Ryback takes over and takes out Big Show. So whatever. Then we get Dolph Ziggler versus Adam Rose. Again, Adam Rose is probably one of those topics I'm going to bring up on the podcast tomorrow, so I don't want to speak too much into that. But I guess we have Adam Rose and Rosa Mendez and Dolph Ziggler and Lana, and apparently Summer Rae and Rusev. Don't understand how that's supposed to work out. I don't understand why Rosa Mendez and Adam Rose are in this love angle, especially considering Adam Rose does nothing. And that's the same for most NXT talent, with the exception of Neville and Kevin Owens for now. Anyway, Dolph Ziggler won after he had a super kick after Rose jumped off the top rope. And then Lana and Ziggler kiss in the ring. Rusev throws his crutches around. Summer Rae walks over with one of Rusev's crutches, gives it to Rusev, tells Rusev that Lana is not worth it. Rusev gets up, and that's pretty much that. J&J Security and Kane are backstage with Stephanie and Triple H. Stephanie and Hunter encourage them to go out and at least hear out what Seth Rollins has to say. Then they walk off and we go to commercial. We come out from back from break, and Seth Rollins, the world champion, is out by himself. Kane, Joey Mercury, and Jamie Noble come out. Rollins apologizes before they can shake hands. Brock Lesnar comes out and pretty much stares down Seth Rollins. And then Kane, Joey Mercury, and Jamie Noble leave the ring, leaving Seth Rollins and Brock Lesnar to, I guess, get their differences aside, or I guess just to leave Seth Rollins out to dry. Kane then comes down and takes Brock Lesnar off the apron. Brock Lesnar takes quick advantage of that. German suplexes Seth Rollins 3 times before Kane hits the chokeslam on him, and then Brock Lesnar just continues to not stay down, and then Rollins, Kane, Mercury, and I guess Jamie Noble start beating down Brock Lesnar. They injure his left leg, so I guess that's going to be one of the things they use to put Seth Rollins over if they're going to have Seth Rollins beat Brock Lesnar. This whole thing culminates into Seth Rollins pedigreeing Brock Lesnar and ending the show with Seth Rollins celebrating beating down Brock Lesnar, and we end the show there. So, yeah. Yeah. Thank you for joining me. And hopefully you didn't miss any of your WWE Swerved special going on the WWE Network. Um, Thank you for watching. Join me tomorrow at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the second episode of the Hardiac Wrestling Podcast. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, favorite, and subscribe for more. I'm Zach Hardy, signing off.